Mic check. You guys can hear me? Okay, awesome. Guys, it's wonderful to be here. I appreciate all of you guys checking in with us to listen to us. This is an important topic, and all of you hopefully can relate to this. Doesn't matter which maturity level you guys are. If you're in the infancy stage of your maturity in FinOps, whether you have already gotten the executive buy-in, hopefully this is a session where you will actually learn something from our experiences. So my name is Ahmed. I'm with a company called Kyndryl, and I am accompanied by my dear friend Prasshant, one of our customers, Sysco here, and we'll share our experiences with you guys. But before we get started, I want to make this session a bit more, I guess, enjoyable. So I have a question for you all. And this is a very easy question for some of you who've actually been at FinOps previously. So whoever raises their hand first gets a prize. So there's actually a prize here, okay? So the question is, if you guys are ready, the question is, when was the first FinOps X event and where was it? I think the first hand was back there.
San Antonio, Texas, 4 years ago. So that would be
that is incorrect, actually. Next.
Austin, 5 years ago.
Year.
2019.
Incorrect.
Austin, 2021.
Next.
Austin 2022.
Yes, there you go. All right. Okay, so we have a prize for you. You can collect it in the front after the session. Good stuff. Okay, so let's get started, guys. Like I said, my name is Zeb, and I'm with a company called Kyndryl. If you have not heard of our company, Kyndryl, we are the world's largest IT managed services provider. We have the largest VMware state under management today. We do a lot of FinOps for our customers. And we were actually doing FinOps even before FinOps Foundation existed, because we manage some of the most critical IT applications and systems for our customers. FinOps has been top of mind for many of our customers for that reason. If you think of the way you book your tickets, your airline tickets, the way you do your banking transactions, a lot of those systems that are supporting those transactions are being managed by Kyndryl. And for that reason, we have a lot of insights into what our customers are needing, what they're doing. And when they first moved to cloud, not realizing the implications of cloud from a cost perspective, and we were partners with them, actually taking them to cloud and also helping solve some of those problems that they've had as related to FinOps as well. So in doing so, Sysco is one of our customers we have been working very closely with. So I would love, Prasshant, for you to introduce yourself and your company to the audience, please.
Thank you, Zeb. Hello, everyone. I'm Prasshant from Sysco. I'm actually a global FinOps lead, but I have a lot of experience in transformation and modernization over 20 plus years. So I'm very excited to talk about Sysco, but how many of you actually always confuse with CISCO versus Sysco? And I believe everyone have seen the trucks in your cities. We deliver the food globally, and we have presence in 90 plus countries. We support almost 730,000 customer locations, and we generated almost 78 billion in sales as of 2025. We have our purpose. We actually connect the world to share the food and care for one another. So having said this, I will share a very good insight what our CEO, Mr. Kevin Hurricane mentioned. He said we are going to give at least 500 million this year to the global community for the well-being and the welfare of the global community. So that is already being done by Sysco. What does it mean? Our efforts are really rooted in the community. We give back to the community.
Yeah. So I know you guys started the FinOps stuff, and based on your CIO's initiative and your CEO's vision of how you're going to have the cost savings and things. And I know it's been a challenge initially for you guys, right? That's where you engaged Kyndryl and we helped you shape the narrative and the narrative you wanted to take forward and how to convince some of the internal buyers. So tell us about some of the challenges you had as you were trying to start this whole FinOps practice and actually build that culture that you needed to build to be able to do this in an efficient manner.
And I always, feel, I think this is a great topic to discuss. People always generally talk about the tools, this, that, but this is our journey. This is transformation that I really realized. And how we started, Cisco's technology strategy basically aligns with the business strategy. So what we are doing as of now, we are building AI-based solutions. We are making sure our supply chain solutions are smarter. But FinOps, 1 year ago, was just an idea. Nobody was talking about FinOps at Cisco. And that was the time I started thinking about it, how we can do it, how we can do that mindset shift, how we can do that cultural change, how we can harness the wind when it comes to the optimization at Cisco. Because I was reading an article yesterday from the CEO. He mentioned we have to save almost 750 million as a cost optimization initiative for Cisco. So what he ensured to his business leaders, this should reflect in all the performance goals and the measurement. So that was an opportunity that really clicked to me, and this is how I started and identifying some of the key business units with whom I can work. And if I talk about the challenges, of course, I think everyone is going through the same challenges. We do not have the sponsorship from the leadership. That's the number one challenge if you are a FinOps leader. We did not have the showback and chargeback capability. We were not able to produce or create any kind of data-driven insights, no automation as when it comes to the cloud cost optimization or FinOps. And there were a lot of silos in the business teams. So how do we bring that cultural change? What is that one effect can harness the wind at my organization? So I always used to think about that, and how we did it. This is something we are going to talk about it.
Yes,
as well.
It's very interesting that you said, in our experience also, we've seen that the top-down approach of getting that executive buy-in really helps. So I think your CEO initially making that claim of saying, look, we're going to go in and save $750 million for the company. It's a really good start because top-down approach really resonates, and it sort of goes down the next levels to understand, look, this is an overall company initiative. So in your case, your CEO already did that. But I think when you are looking to get that executive buy-in, you have to think top-down. It always has to come top-down. So I'm curious, Prasshant, so when you did have that initiative, when do you think it actually clicked by the layer down below your CEO? Like, was that enough by CEO saying 750 million of savings? And when you went to these other folks, senior executives in the company, they were already on the same page? Or did you actually have to go and do something specifically to get them to have that buy-in?
Yeah, I think this is a great question. So what happened? I identified the key business units. So for example, as I mentioned, we have a multi-million spend in cloud. What are those key business units I can actually work with as a use case, as a first starting point? Supply chain is one of the key business unit I identified. This business unit can be the enabler to really drive that cloud cost optimization. Then I identified another business unit. They are in commercial technology. So these are the two business units I selected as the enablers to adopt FinOps. I started talking to their VPs. Every month, I made sure I set up time in their calendars. Believe me, this was a challenge. Most of the times, I was not able to get their time. It is very important when we are trying to set up a time in a VP's calendar or senior VP's calendar, we have a data. I always made sure we have a usage pattern, the data that should be very well presented to that leader in a timely fashion. I used to get only 15 minutes, 20 minutes in their calendar. So I actually, created some kind of insights. These are the saving opportunities. We should act on it. So then they started looking at it, what I was talking about. Few of them started asking questions from me. What will happen even if I save this money in cloud? So then I started explaining the compounding effect. You can use this money for your other SOWs. And I can promise in the next meeting, I'm going to show you how to execute it. We will have 1 sprint or 2 sprint plan. So this is how I started with 2 business units initially. Perseverance and persistence was the key. I kept doing it and I'm still doing it.
Yeah, so the message of the convincing of the executive is not a one-time event, right? You have to be persistent and you have to continuously, via governance or regular calls, keep pushing that narrative over and over and over. And I would add something else to this, is that understanding not only your company vision and strategy, but also a level down, because as you go level down, you have your CHROs, you have your CIOs, so on and so forth. Understanding what their vision is as well, and what is it that they are tasked with to be successful in their own individual organizations, and how to make them successful is a key element for you to be able to get that buy-in. Because walking in front of somebody and telling them, look, we're going to have a huge amount of cost savings, it's great, but then you also have to translate that into some successes that those individuals can also have within the company, and align the FinOps initiative that you are trying to drive to making them successful, right? So that is a key. So now that is great news. So now you've got some of the buy-in, you've got some cadences, governance and all that. Now you move to executing part. So how did you carry that forward?
Execution was really exciting. I did not talk about the tools. So we have a couple of tools. We have a homegrown internal tool, which actually talks about the allocation management, as well as we do the forecasting also. So all those BUs are properly categorized in that internal tool. And we were not effectively using that tool. So I realized the weakness of the tool. And as a FinOps leader, this is a real struggle, how to convert that weakness into a strength to make the other BUs to effectively use that tool. Finance team was not enabled how to check the budgets and the forecasting. So that was my first step, to understand their business, to understand the tool and explain them how this forecast and budgeting works. And we have like 4 or 5 tools. Nobody checks the tools. Nobody checks the tools. So what we did, I created all those insights and a pattern in 2 or 3 slides for those 2 BUs specifically, what they need from me. And I actually targeted on 2 KPIs, usage inefficiency and committed discount management. These were the 2 KPIs I selected. These were 2 low-hanging fruits. And as a result of which, when I presented the plan to them, they said, okay, can you do a project, internal BAU project? So we launched a project Helios, a project which was all about cloud cost optimization last year.
Yeah, so tell us more about Project Helios and how it's going. I know there's quite a bit of work happening under that project with Kyndryl as well. You're doing some assessments and that type of thing. So please educate us.
So Project Helios, we actually did some showback in our tool, one of our tool called as Turbonomics. Turbonomics actually does your over-provisioning VMs, your ideal DBs, as well as your databases. So we started looking at those resources at a very lower level, right? And we were doing some showback and presenting that showback patterns to those BUs. So that was number 1. Turbonomics, scaling actions, and committed discount management for RIs and savings plan. We were creating reports every week and presenting those reports to these 2 BUs through the collaboration channel on Teams. We made sure we have a cadence, and we started 2 weeks of a sprint to execute this project. You won't believe, we saved almost $5 million in 2 sprints only. It was very difficult to get those buy-ins, but when they started seeing the patterns, when they started seeing the results, we got the approvals. And as I mentioned, we do not have an automation right now. We have to follow the change management process. So we followed all those processes and we executed those actions, the scaling actions. We did our RIs with no upfront for 1 year because there is a lot of fear. They do not want to give us the approval. So this is how the things have really evolved. And Project Helios was very successful, a low profile kind of a project, but that actually built the strategy to basically click an idea for the FinOps adoption. And this is how we have done the magic.
Yeah, so you talked about some of the outcomes, but let's talk about what's next for you. So Project Helios was successful. What's coming next for you as far as taking that forward?
So once Project Helios was executed, I had an opportunity to actually present the strategy to the CTO back in November last year. So when I presented the strategy and I took all the slides from the FinOps framework, that was a prime point. And at the same time, we had a new CTO. So that really clicked to his mind. Okay, Prasshant, can you give me more details? I want to know more about this. We have a lot of opportunities. Can you talk about what is our current state? What is our future state? So I really made a plan how we can adopt FinOps globally. Not at North America, globally, because we do business in Sysco Europe as well. So I presented a plan in Excel sheet line by line, and I had a one-hour discussion with CTO. He said, okay, let's go ahead and start the practice. And last month, we launched the FinOps practice. I have a team now, and it's been going well. We are creating the success story on the low-hanging fruits. Believe me, Kyndryl is actually helping us on the FinOps assessment. This is ongoing right now as we speak. We have a readout due in the June last week. So the outcomes of that FinOps assessment will actually set up the next kind of targets. As a result of this strategy plan, I was able to create a roadmap also until FY 27 and 28. So FinOps assessment is ongoing, and we started already focus. We are doing a proof of concept in Azure. Right now, while I'm here, my team is working on the proof of concept. There are a lot of exciting things going to happen at Sysco. Through focus, we will tap into the unit economics as well.
Awesome. Thank you for those insights. So I know we have limited time. It's a short window. So I would love to summarize this. I'll give our point of view, and then I'll ask you, Prasshant, for your summarization of the top 5 things anybody needs to do to be able to get that executive buy-in. One learning that we at Kyndryl have had working with customers like Sysco and many others is that I spoke about this a little bit earlier as far as ensuring that your FinOps strategy that you're trying to implement in your company is aligned to the initiatives that those senior executives are trying to drive to be successful for themselves and those teams. Now, another part as well is, Dan is here, Dan is the one who educated me based on his customer experience on this point, is that the amount that you are going to save from FinOps, unless that amount is affecting the people in other business units within your organizations and helping them achieve what they want to achieve, it's not going to have that level of impact that you want. So not only should you highlight the fact that you are able to have this amount of cost savings, but also how would you reinvest those cost savings in achieving some of the other goals that business has set for themselves. That is extremely, extremely important, right? Because you want to make sure that, you want to have cost savings, but yet at the same time, you're making these other people successful by helping them and reinvest those savings into initiatives and helping them to be successful. So a very, very important point. And with that, I will just ask you in the last minute, Prasshant, if you would like to summarize our session with the top 5 key takeaways that you have for the audience.
So the real secret sauce is here. Strategic alignment, leadership alignment. We are not going to be successful until it is formalized as a center of excellence. Cloud budget decentralization is the key. So whatever tool or processes or framework you are using, let's ensure your finance persona is really working alongside with you. You enable them to understand what are those cost categories and how do you decentralize the budget. Because in our case, CTO was owning the entire total tech budget. I worked with each BU to decentralize that budget day in, day out. So cloud budget decentralization is a key. FinOps stewards, make sure you have someone in their BUs working alongside with you or in your team. So FinOps stewards is a key, and work or pick up at least 1 or 2 KPIs, and then you will find the levers for the cost management. Low-hanging fruits. Always focus on the low-hanging fruits. Do not waste your VP's time if you do not have the data. Do not go into those meetings. And perseverance and passion is the key. I drive passion for my FinOps adoption at Sysco. Believe me, every day when I get up, I feel joy about it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prasshant. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you for being here. It's good to be seeing you all. So we have a booth in the expo. As you enter the expo, we're on the left-hand side, right next to Microsoft. I would love to share more experiences with you and learn from you guys as well. So I appreciate you guys being here and listening to us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Stepan to Prasshant. Thank you.
Hey everyone, producer Andrew here. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. For more FinOps X 2025 content, go check out our YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and leave comments and questions for all of our wonderful speakers. We appreciate your support.